What's up, everybody? What is up? Welcome to episode 2 of Planet Xbox. It's great to be back. I am your host, Kid Smooth, aka the best spot, and I got everybody else with me, and we got a special guest as well. But I'm gonna let my co-companions introduce themselves.
What's going on, you guys? Gaming Addict here.
That's it? Nothing
Yeah.
special?
I do the special shit for the end of the podcast. Why have you not constant like? Never mind, kid. I'm not having this conversation with you.
Okay. Hi, iPhone. I'm sorry. Dizzy. Hey, introduce yourself.
My bad. I just got disconnected. What's up, everybody? Hi, Dizzy. Hopefully staying on the airwaves this time around.
And we got the OG, triple OG, gangsta, triple, double, OG.
What's good, folks? OGTK Cole here from the Gaming Effect. I'm chilling, man. I just want to get in here and talk about some games, talk a little bit about my E3 predictions, and so on. And the last achievement that I unlocked was perform the sleeping bag kill from Friday the 13th.
Yeah, speaking of that, last one I got's Friday too. Is kill all the counselors in one run. I got it actually the one that I killed Kid in.
Okay. Before I get, my latest achievement was First Blood. I think because I got to finally play as Jason, so I killed somebody as Jason, so I got the achievement for that. And by the way, I am once again at the start of June leading OG Co in leaderboards. I did that this morning, and I think I'm leading by almost 100 points. So
you're leading on your friends list. You're not leading on mine.
I'm probably not number one on your friends list. I'm not number one on my friends list, but I'm above Cole. That was. But no. Before
won't be there for long.
Dizzy, what's your the achievement that you got? Your latest achievement?
I ain't gonna lie to you. The same achievement that I had the last time I was here is something that's dark. My achievement is staying up till like the wee hours of the morning raising babies on Ark. That thing is crack. I need to cut that shit out, and I don't know. Maybe I'll go do a Telltale game and get some achievements so I can be like, hey guys, hey.
Yeah. You sound like a junkie right now. Oh, man.
Kinda. I'm already feeling.
We're going to have this conversation more in the future. He's going to come in here and say, I played Ark all week. I don't have any achievements.
Pretty much.
And to introduce our guest who needs no introduction at all, fastest growing YouTube channel I've ever witnessed, Randall Thor 19. What's up, man?
What's up, kid? Thanks for having me on Planet Xbox. I'm ready to talk some of these some topics, and I got an achievement last night. Because I've been busy playing PlayStation. So I did get an achievement, and that was for 200 gamer scores, so right up your alley. In a game that comes out tonight that you can get 1,000 points in less than an hour. So I know you're interested. And it's only $3, so it won't break the bank. It's called Refunked. And I got the achievement called Can We Be Friends for finishing the game in 8 minutes.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Yep. I'm in it. I'm in there. It comes out when?
Comes out tonight or tomorrow.
They're gonna make mad money off of that.
Okay.
For $3, you get 1,000 gamer score in an hour. Yeah, they about to make mad money off of that.
There is one achievement that does require a bit of skill. You have to beat the game in under 4 minutes, but it's doable. You can get the rest of the achievements in less than an hour. But yeah, $3. It's a first-person platforming game. Pretty cool. So $3, get your gamer score up, kid. You can brag about another game beaten under your belt, right?
Yeah, that's great. That is great. You know what I mean? I just need that emergency because once I go to E3, I'm not bringing my Xbox with me, so that's like 6 days. I won't be able to touch it. All right. So let's what do we? I had the conversation I wanted to have. I didn't want to do like your traditional Xbox E3 predictions, I kind of wanted to talk about like the best case and worst case scenarios of what we know was going to happen as far as the games that they got to show, their conference itself, and of course Project Scorpio. And then we got this leak, and the only reason why I wanted to even talk about it, I was going to completely ignore it. It's just some of the stuff that was in this leak kind of sounded familiar to some of the stuff that you were talking about, Rand. So I wanted to touch on that first. I want to talk about the Xbox leak. Have you seen it?
Who hasn't seen it by now? I'm sure we've all seen it, right?
Yeah. Does it look? Would you like? I'm just curious. Compared to the information that some of the stuff that what you've heard versus some of the stuff that's here, can any of this stuff be, other than the obvious shit like the stuff that we know is going to be there? Can some of the stuff that we haven't heard like be confirmed? Like, or
I don't know. A lot of the stuff in there is guesswork. To me, it doesn't pass the smell test. There's a couple things in there that are right, which made me kind of question if the whole thing was right. But I'm gonna go with mostly 90% fake. There is
okay.
There is some things in there that are worded in a way that I can construe as being true. But then there's some of the other stuff there just doesn't make any sense. And he totally just doesn't talk about things that I know are at the conference. So which makes me question the whole thing. But I mean, Project Uranus, really? I'm sure he had a laugh coming up with that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the name who's doing Project?
That was Obsidian's game was Project Uranus, which was a Destiny type game, the biggest Microsoft IP to date, and it was a sci-fi thing, and it was supposed to come out around 2020. And I know I question whether Obsidian would even want to work again with Microsoft because they canceled their exclusive game back in 2012 that was supposed to be a launch game for the Xbox One, which forced Obsidian to go to the Kickstarter route and almost close the studio down. And from what I've heard, some of the leadership at Obsidian, like, obviously holds some bad blood for Microsoft. So when I saw, yet again, Obsidian making an exclusive game, I was like, I know money talks, but I don't know about this. And then the whole Ninja Gaiden exclusive game, some of that stuff, and that's the Knights of Aegeus. That was an actual leak from February, in that Capcom leak. If you go to VG Leaks, it talks about the three games, the three new IPs that Capcom was developing. Yeah. But I'd be more inclined to believe it, except the dude copy and pasted the entire description of the game from that website. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, somebody did point that out, and I think in one of the comments, included the screenshot. Now I think the one thing that had me raise an eyebrow was the Fable Online by it's supposed to be Studio Gobo. He has Studio Fobo. I think that was a typo error, but they're supposed to be reviving Fable Legends, and it's going to be a different name. And instead of being a MOBA, it's going to be like an online RPG inspired by Destiny. And
Dead on Arrival.
You said Dead on Arrival?
Mm-hmm.
People want Fable, though.
Yeah, people do want Fable. I think people want more of an actual Fable stand, like a game, a Fable part of the series, whether it be a reboot or a Fable 4. I wouldn't mind an online Fable game. I actually enjoyed Fable Legends, at least what you could play of it. But it would be great to see it if it's true. A lot of people were was calling this thing hey, maybe it's true because he had the game in our is it the game in our 1, 2 and whatever what the thing that kind of made me raise an eyebrow was the Monster Hunter thingy, and I remember you talking about that in Weapon Wheel this past weekend.
Yeah, the Monster Hunter thing.
Yeah.
I was told a while back that the game is coming to Xbox. I made that prediction that it would be on Xbox stage, knowing it was wrong because I'm positive it's on Sony stage, but it will come to the system. So that when I saw that, I saw his Monster Hunter thing, and that made me. I'm like, is the rest of this true? Like, you read some of the stuff and some of the things he said about Crackdown. I was kind of like interesting because I've heard similar stuff, and it's like, okay, he's got a couple things here right, and it's like, well, does that make the rest of this right? But I mean, look, I think that would be a good conference. Like, can you imagine if Microsoft pumped out a new Ninja Gaiden, a huge IP from Obsidian, their biggest yet, bringing back Fable, whether it's Fable Online or whatever. But like a lot of that list read is like someone's dream, like a dream list for E3, which
especially if they announce at the end of it if the Scorpio's $399.
well, yeah, that too. So I think that's why I said it's like I think it's 90% fake because I think there is some true information there, or at least right guesses enough to question the entire thing. But I mean, he didn't mention Minecraft or what Minecraft's announcing. He didn't mention anything about Project Dylan
Yeah,
and stuff like that. So
yeah. And there was no like Scorpio mention at all. Like as far as like that's why I was like, oh well, maybe. Like I say, when I think Tim Dog linked it to me, was the first person to link it to me, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna read it. And then I read it, and I was like, it just seems like a whole lot of fluff. Took a second look at it and whatnot, and I was like, well, maybe we'll talk about it. But like I said, if all was true, I mean, it would be impressive. But I think it will be even more impressive depending on how it showed, and I was surprised not to see a freaking Splinter Cell on that list. I'm confident that there's going to be a Splinter Cell on Microsoft stage. I'd rather Splinter Cell over Assassin's Creed, but that's just me.
I'm starting to doubt whether Splinter Cell is going to be on Xbox's stage. I think it'll be on Ubisoft's.
I think they're saving that for their own stage.
Yeah, because that means Ubisoft would have 2 games there, and I'm not sure a publisher's had 2 games on stage because Assassin's Creed is there 100% for sure. I'm not sure Splinter Cell would warrant that thing, but Ubisoft, they like to wow for their own press conference, so I would imagine if they're going to reveal Splinter Cell, it'll be at Ubisoft's press conference rather than Microsoft's.
Yeah. I mean, I just like I said, if it was me, if I was Microsoft, and if they had the marketing deal for Splinter Cell, I'm taking that over Assassin's Creed because I feel like Splinter Cell identifies more with Xbox than Assassin's Creed do.
You're right.
And
you're
there's
right,
more
but
of
I mean,
a nostalgia feel that I missed this game feel. That would be really big for the brand.
Yeah, but I mean, even though Splinter Cell is more associated with Xbox, Assassin's Creed is still like the way bigger game. So from Microsoft's perspective, I get why they probably would want Assassin's Creed to be there. And, do they really need to show off Splinter Cell at Xbox? It's already Xbox affiliated, like you say, so...
True. But the thing is, the only reason why I think about Assassin's Creed because the last Assassin's Creed they had, partnership with, it was like kind of a bad taste. And Assassin's Creed, and not only the game, but it was associated with Xbox, and it was like their worst performing Assassin's Creed, and it was so the performance was so bad it prevented people from buying Syndicate, which was a really good Assassin's Creed, and I think that's one of the reasons why they really need to back off and not go like another year with it, take that break from it, make people miss it, and then try to come back strong with it. But
I think when
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Mine's quick. I think when it comes to that leak list, I think we just got a case of an individual who went and got a bunch of leaks together and put it all together and claimed it as his own.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, actually, he wasn't claiming it as his own. He was claiming it as leaks given by NKTML, who, if you guys remember, was the guy who leaked the entire 2014 press conference and Scalebound and everything in Halo Master Chief Collection back in 2014. Like, he leaked everything. So like he's saying the leak is from him, that he's friends with them, and this was in a private Discord. So he's not. He's the guy wasn't claiming it's like his leak. It's somebody else's leak, and he's using the name of an infamous 100% right leaker to try to fool people to think that his stuff is 100% accurate. You know.
You know what I don't understand? What do people gain out of the leak? I mean, to me, it just defeats the purpose at the end of the day. I just want to, me personally, I'm not trying to rain on anyone's parade, but I just want to play the games, man. I don't care. I can wait till I get to E3 to see what's going to be on the stage, man. I think this is ridiculous for people to try to leak anything. Let these people do their conferences and let them wow the crowds that are there to see them. Leaking before time, that personally leaves a bad taste in my mouth. You know, and as far as whether it's going to be Assassin's Creed on the Xbox stage or Splinter Cell, I prefer them to put Splinter Cell on the stage. Yes, Assassin's Creed sells a lot, but Assassin's Creed has been coming off some not so hot games. I wouldn't want Assassin's Creed to be the torchbearer for the new console. I don't think that's good business.
And you got to think Assassin's Creed, just, regardless how people feel about Syndicate, it still technically is coming off of an L. So
Exactly.
The L for Unity was so big it overshadowed the entire game Syndicate.
Yeah, and to me, as a gamer, Assassin's Creed has more L's than wins. If we're going to keep it honest, it says a lot for your best game in the series is part 2. So if I was Microsoft, I would think about that going forward as well. Do we want to stand next to Assassin's Creed with this new console, or do we want to bring Sam Fisher back, which he is coming back, and we wow the crowd with Splinter Cell? It's just something to think about.
And plus, regardless, I'm a fan of both. I really don't care which one shows up there. I think that if Assassin's Creed showed up there, they're going to have to show something very, very good because of coming off of Unity. But for some reason, I feel like the sound of Sam Fisher turning on his goggles will be more effective than Assassin's Creed.
I agree. We haven't seen Sam Fisher in a long time, so I think the crowd would go crazy. Just my opinion.
That's true. But now that we got the league out of the way, before I start to next subject, Dizzy, you still on here? I know he's been having trouble with his internet. Do you have anything to any thoughts? I don't know if you got to look at the leak or if you purposely ignored it.
I saw the leak shared around, but I'm kind of in the same boat with Effect over here. Is I don't like whenever I spoil this stuff myself. So if I can avoid it at all costs, I'm probably going to avoid it. I don't like a lot of the rumors. I mean, there's the occasional Twitter ones that I'll follow, but their stuff is a little bit more legit because they have a little bit more inside information and they're known for what they are. I mean, they're quoted. So for stuff like this, especially as close as E3 is, I would just rather wait and see and be surprised or disappointed, whichever, rather than see something and then be like, well, I guess that leak was right. Well, that was spoiled. It just makes E3 boring at that point.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about E3 of what we're actually going to get from the Xbox camp. Don't really want to comment much on the stuff that we're speculating as far as the new games, but we know what's going to be there as far as first party, at least from the announced stuff. And I kind of want to talk about. Well, before I get into this point, I know for some reason there's like this common belief that Xbox doesn't win like E3s, and I'm gone on the record to feel like I felt like Xbox won when it comes to presentation and showing games. I felt like they won I would say they won every E3 up until this point. I even count 2013 press conference wise. not all the shenanigans before and after, but as far as showing off games and whatnot. But to everybody else, PlayStation has dominated E3, and now everybody's saying this E3 is the make or break for the Xbox brand, and I still don't understand why, but it's like people are saying, well, this is the one that they have to deliver. If not, it's over, and all this other crap. So I want to talk about some of the best case and worst case scenarios that could happen with these with this E3, whether with the games, with the Scorpio, with the conference itself. And we're gonna start with Sea of Thieves. And Ran, I'm gonna start with you because I always enjoy what you have to say about Sea of Thieves. Even I think you were calling and hoping for it to be delayed. So
yeah, I want the game to be successful, right? Mm-hmm. And to be successful, I don't think it can launch this year unless you're literally going to launch it in July or the very beginning of August. Now that Sea of Thieves moves, I think anytime after that, you're treading on dangerous waters. Because Sea of Thieves is the type of game that I think needs an open schedule to itself to succeed in. Because I think people will like if there's other games out, especially big high-profile games, gamers will choose that. The gamers have this whole gen. Gamers have basically chosen the comfort food over the new exotic meal. Every time you look, they even though like a lot of gamers say we want new IP, we need new IP, they're hesitant to buy new IP. What they aren't hesitant on buying is stuff they know they enjoy: Call of Duties, Battlefields, everything you can possibly imagine. Now, I mean, that's not always true in every case, like Overwatch and stuff like that, but I mean, that has a prestigious developer behind it. But for the most part, Rare, for most people, Rare hasn't delivered an actual real game in a long time because their last two games were Connect Sports games, Connect Sports 1 and Connect Sports 2. So what was the actual last real game? And I know maybe that's talking down about like Connect games being real games, but what was the last actual like real game from Rare? I can't. I think is it Banjo
Perfect
Kazooie?
Dark Zero or Perfect Dark Zero.
They made
Perfect
some
Dark Zero.
stuff for Nintendo.
No. But like Banjo, when did Nuts and Bolts come out?
That might have been the last one they made.
Might have been the last one. Okay.
Or I know they remastered some of the Rare Replay stuff, but Microsoft has invested heavily into the studio. They've invested a lot of time and money into making this game. I'm not going to say the whole entire studio depends on its success, but I think it'll be a factor if the game, bombs or whatever. So I think you'll see a new trailer that might highlight some story stuff that you can play in co-op with, right? And then they'll give a release date for next year. I think it's a game that comes out early next year, maybe April, because I just can't see it coming out this year because it'll get destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, what I feel like the worst case scenario for Sea of Thieves is actually that it does come out this year. I feel like it already passed its release window that it could have came out. I feel like anything. Actually, I'd probably say it has until August, but obviously the game isn't done. And they don't have time to market it if they're going to try to sell this broadly. So I feel like worst case scenario, the game they announced this as a holiday release or a Scorpio launch title. I feel like the best case scenario with Sea of Thieves is that they do give everybody access to play it, whether by an open beta or a game preview for this year. I think that needs to happen.
You think it's going to go in a game preview?
I don't think it will go into game preview because for some reason, if you looking at the history of game preview since it's been on Xbox, I don't recall not one like AAA type game in there. And even though it would be best fit for game preview, I think if they're going to do anything, they're going to do an open beta route for all Xbox Live users or something like that. But I would strongly recommend game preview. I think it would give game preview more hype, more usage, and people can pre-buy the game out of there itself, and they can continue to build on the game and hopefully have a proper launch early next year.
I think the worst case scenario, this game comes out this year, gets overshadowed by AAA titles, and then before you know it, Rare's getting layoffs. I think the best case scenario is they come out on the E3 stage. If it is going to be at E3, they announce that it's going into open beta form, because it's one of the biggest issues with this game is there's not a lot of info circulating around this game. People don't really know what this game is. The only thing you see different spectrums of different gameplay, but you don't know how they intertwine with each other. You don't know the objective of the game. It's like they got to make these key points very clear before they do anything.
Have you guys ever thought of maybe at the present time there is no objective to the game, and that's why they pushed it back? No one has thought about that yet. I played that, I don't know if you want to call it a beta or whatever it was, and I'm not into playing games that there's no objectives, that there's nothing to do. I'm not cool with just running around and shooting at other ships on the ocean. There has to be something more to the game. And from playing it, hands-on experience, right now there's nothing more to that. And we need to face facts that this game, if they didn't take it back to the drawing board, that it would have been dead on arrival. I don't even think the game preview is the place for this game to be right now. They need to get some. I don't think so. There's nothing. I wouldn't play it.
I would have to definitely disagree with that. Like, I mean, I think I said it last time that they messed up. They should have never put we preview in these. Like, I mean, if I was looking at it, worst case scenario, other than what they're dealing with right now, is Black Wake decides to come to console and it launches on Xbox. Black Wake comes to console. Sea of Thieves is dead on arrival.
Here's the question though: if that game does come to consoles, would Microsoft even let that come to console, knowing it would directly compete with Sea of Thieves?
That would be bad for business if they didn't, though. Definitely would be. It would hurt them in the end run.
I don't.
Dizzy, you there? I think
why they wouldn't.
Okay.
Oh no. I'm still here. Wait, no, I don't think it is. I'm sorry.
No. I was gonna ask Cole. What did you think was bad for business?
Not allowing the other game that's a indirect competition with Sea of Thieves come from PC to Xbox, to the Xbox store. You would be looking like you're showing favoritism, and let's be honest, that wouldn't sit well with a lot of people.
I mean, it's neither that, or if this game is what Dizzy says it is, and it would come to console and just destroy the Sea of Thieves fan base. Like, are they going to show sign of favoritism, or are they just going to let one of the IPs they've invested millions of dollars in die?
How do the young boys say? Get good, make a better game, make a better game.
According to King Los, he said Black Wake is not a real threat to Sea of Thieves. It's only a ship combat in Black Wake versus Sea of Thieves. You can get off
but Sea of Thieves is like that right now.
No,
exactly.
Sea of Thieves
there's more than just ship.
Okay.
Limited to ship combat.
Well, get out and get loot. That game is terrible, man. Sea of Thieves is crap. Like I told you guys last week, I'd rather eat dog shit with chopsticks than play Sea of Thieves.
I don't think Sea of Thieves is a bad game. I just feel like they haven't showed enough, and I felt like of what they have shown isn't saying much. The game appears to be much bigger than what we've seen. I'm expecting a whole bunch of content. They just need to show other things that's available in the game. I don't think any of us have come in and encounter with a Kraken and Sea of Thieves during these play tests. I sure as hell haven't.
Well, supposedly in that leak, they're supposed to show gameplay of some kind of cave and a Kraken, and there's two people trying to get there's two crews trying to get a treasure, and they have to fight the Kraken and fight each other. I mean, they need to show gameplay like that to get people hyped for this game. Not the shit they showed last year and the year before that.
Yeah. But
Well, there's one thing I think Gaming Effect said, like, you want something to do when you play your game, right? You don't want to just like go around directionalist. And I agree with you, but I think what Microsoft wants to do is a little bit of that Minecraft, because Minecraft, it's whatever you want to do in the game. If you just want to putz around, you can do it. But like, there's really no direction in that game either. And I have a feeling Microsoft kind of wants something to that similar in Sea of Thieves, where you make your own fun, you and your friends. And honestly, I don't think the game's target demographic is anybody on this podcast.
Thank
To
you.
be honest with you,
I said that last week.
I think it's for a younger audience.
Thank you. I said that to these guys last week, man. Thank you.
Yeah. I honestly think so. I think it appeals with the way the game looks. Even though some of the ship controls are realistic, I think younger kids might enjoy that team building exercise of piloting a ship together and the combat and this, fighting the skeletons and stuff. I think it's for a younger audience rather than us, older gamers. So
Neverland in the comments.
We will see.
Neverland in the comments section said low key Sea of Thieves shouldn't even be a part of the E3 conference. Something else I said last week to you guys and you disagreed.
I will always continue to disagree with that. I think Sea of Thieves, as long as if we're within a launch window of Sea of Thieves, it should be there. They have more to show, and they need to generate interest. If the stuff that they've been showing over the past year and a half hasn't generated enough interest, they need to show something else relative to the game to generate the interest. There's a lot about the game that hasn't been lift beneath the curtain yet.
So Phil. Oh, go ahead.
Apparently lost. I just want to ask you a question. Where did you get this kind of info that you're talking about in the comment section? You said apparently there's Destiny-like raids in this game, and Kraken is one of them. I ain't never heard no such nonsense come out of anyone from Microsoft about that.
Me either.
Right.
Because that probably would sell me right there. I probably would mess with it or at least buy it to try to appeal to a younger audience.
It would be cool if there was like a 4-crew raid where you have to defeat the Kraken. I mean, that would be lit, but I just don't think that is the case because I ain't heard nothing of even relatively close to that statement come out of anyone.
I know one thing, and I'm gonna stand by this. You can't say, "Hey, Phil, why don't we push Sea of Thieves on the main stage?" and PS4 jump up there with God of War, Days Gone, and all this. You're gonna look crazy. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Come on, man. That game's shaky like a crap game. Come on, dog.
It just depends on how much time they spend on it. I mean, they can do their video diary things and do the same effect on YouTube, and obviously it wouldn't be the same effect because E3 is that spotlight, but it would give a similar spotlight that the Sea of Thieves needs, because I feel like the biggest thing hurting that game is the fact that no one knows anything about it really. Like, I played the alpha and I still don't know shit about that game.
Exactly. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on.
$20-$30, no, nothing more.
$19.99.
20-30.
$19.99 plus tax. Like Rand said, this game is geared towards kids, man.
No, I want them to pay my tax. I don't want to pay more than I should.
I'm sorry, my mic I think was muted during the stream. I don't think they heard my question or if I said anything before that. And I was asking, should Sea of Thieves be will it be a retail $60 game or should it be a free to play?
If that game's $60, I'm deflecting.
Yeah, $20-$30. 20-30. I think they've confirmed it's not free to play. What does the comment section think? How much money should this be?
$19.99.
It's a $59.99 game if it's retail. I don't see
it's not going to be. I highly doubt it's $59.99. Dizzy, I think they said it's not free to play.
$19.99.
You can renege at any point that you want to. It's gonna be free to play. If it's in the state that it is like it is right now, and it's very very shallow for a game, and even for the target demographic, if we are going with that, this is for kids. This is a free to play title, just like I said it would be for Phantom Dust. Whenever they said that there's going to be microtransactions, I guarantee you we're going to hear something about that here in the future. It's going to be a free to play game.
I don't know how to say your name really well, so correct me, Tina. That's an Amazon placeholder. Sorry that I butchered your name. I'm old. But that's a $39.99 is a place card holder. So that's not going to stand.
I think it'll be $60 and it'll be rife with microtransactions.
Sheesh.
That game is not getting purchased then. If it's
It definitely.
I don't want to shut up. You guys talking about if it has microtransactions, it's not being purchased. Half
Okay,
the
hold
games
on,
you buy is laced with microtransactions.
Yeah, but that
Especially
game-
your favorite game.
I'm not saying I'm
That
not
game
picking it up.
sucks, though.
I'm not saying I'm not picking it up because it's microtransactions. I'm saying I'm not picking it up because if it's a $60 retail price. The microtransactions has nothing to do with this statement.
Game not worth $60. What's wrong with you?
Yeah,
One could argue that Destiny should have been $20 per irritation versus a $60 game up front.
I don't think Destiny should be a $60 full retail game, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they showed that by this time of the release date of Destiny, we knew more about Destiny than we know about Sea of Thieves.
I'm not a Destiny guy. I was a Division guy, but at the same time, don't compare a steak to a piece of chicken, man. Come on, man.
Actually,
nugget.
no.
It's not a chicken.
The game
Comparing
is
Sea of Thieves to Destiny.
All right, you're right. You're right. You know, it's unfair to compare a game that isn't released or even done yet to games that have been out for a couple years now and already robbed you guys. So I will wait until Sea of Thieves make a full release to make that comparison.
I guess he likes Sea of Thieves because of the simplicity
for
its gamer score.
I do have to give that to Ed. You know, let's see more on the full retail game before we start making assumptions. They might show us some shit at E3 that makes us completely do a 360, well, 180 technically, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll be the first one to come on the podcast to say, hey, I was wrong. And this is that, and it looks good now. But as of playing the alpha and just running around looking like a Saturday morning cartoon, I'm not impressed.
You got the comment section talking about Destiny right now.
All right, so let's
thinking about it though. Don't be surprised if it does have a raid. By the way.
It's set up to be that way. That's why I don't like. That's the only thing I can think of is like generated missions, that they set out, whether it be weekly or monthly. You're gonna have like these little gimpy missions that you can do, and then they're gonna have like these raids set up for you to do. I believe that's possible. I don't think they're just gonna throw this game out where you just, all right, you're in the sea, you're in the water, and do whatever until something random happens. I just don't see that happen. I feel like there's going to be something set up that gives you a purpose to do this game. I feel like this game, and you guys say it's targeted for kids. I don't really think so. You know, they got you drinking alcohol in the game. There is guns in the game, and I'm sure there's I believe it relies a lot on like voice chat. So like, you know, I don't see that marketed as kids. I feel like maybe it's the where are they from the UK? They're like really goofy people over there.
You did not
to
say
make
that.
it sound bad, but they're really. I mean, that maybe that what makes it seems like kiddish or anything like that. But nah, cause it's like the same thing with like Fable. It's like really goofy.
Somebody in Chris Righteous said it's targeted to social rejects.
Hey, Neverland said you reaching.
You said it, not me, Chris.
hey, look. If they have some kind of like, you know, raid thing where two people, you know, where people come together to try to kill a common ground, like I could get down on that. It's just I can't say stuff like this because they haven't shown it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the game is probably also a year away from release or so, give or take a few months. You don't really know much about any game a year from release.
But I feel like a game that's been at this many E3s. We should know more about.
Well,
now.
you're right. Okay, and that's their mistake for having it at 2015, 2016. I would agree they shouldn't have it this year, but it's going to be the last E3, so it's going to have to be there because it is one of their high-profile IPs. I feel like the reason people always say like I don't know what you do in this game is similar to what people say about kids playing Minecraft. It's like I don't know what you do in Minecraft, but the kids know what they're doing. And I think that's that's why I think it's aimed at a younger audience.
I think so too.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm not gonna say what kind of audience is directed towards, but we'll see.
Next game, I know this is going to be a short time. Let's talk about the next Forza game. Anybody want to guess what the cover car is going to be?
I'll pass. I'll pass on this whole conversation.
Hater.
I mean,
I'm going to take a guess.
A guess for me.
I'm going to say a Porsche.
A Porsche?
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to pull it out there. I say a Porsche.
So it has to be like the latest Porsche.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like we're talking about like a 2018.
I thought about the Audi, the newest Audi, the one that's like it has 230 on the dash, but then they came out with the new Porsche, the latest model, and that has like 225, 230 on the dash as well. But I'm more inclined to say the Porsche. I could be wrong. They might play it safe and put another Lamborghini or Ferrari up there.
What about you, Rand?
There's some lot of people are guessing in the comments too.
You need to take a look at the comments. A
Tesla? A Toyota Corolla.
I don't care about
Dodge Neon.
This ain't Gran Turismo, Chris Righteous.
Oh my God! He said a Dodge Neon. Do they even still make those?
This ain't Gran Turismo. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing, kid. I don't.
Yep.
The motorsport series doesn't exist to me.
What?
I can honestly say the entire racing gaming industry doesn't exist to me.
Wow.
See, Horizon is amazing. I just don't like the cold, sterile thing that motorsport goes for. I prefer the colorful, open world, arcade style of racing. So, Forza Motorsport 7 comes out this year. Don't care. It might as well not exist to me.
Right, this would be like the first Forza Motorsport like game I would buy since like Forza 5. I'm not a fan.
You mean the first game you're gonna buy and never play?
No, I'll probably play like 3 races, right? It's
What
not,
are you right?
I'll
$60 on 3
You guys are missing out on Forza.
We should all make a bet right now. Do you think Kid plays this game for more than 20 hours?
See, here's the thing.
I can't really judge him on it yet, but I'm a Forza fan. I hope he plays it.
There's only one reason why I'm buying this game. Anybody want to make a guess?
The graphics?
Because it's an Xbox game?
No, if it was just because of the Xbox game, I would have bought the last.
Because 4K demonstration.
Yeah. I would. I need to see. This is going to be a native 4K 60 frames, comparable ultra settings. I need to see it. I don't care. I need to freaking see it. That's why I bought freaking Forza 5 because it was one of the best looking games on like any console at the time when it comes to racers and whatnot. And in Forza 7 or whatever they call it, I gotta see it. I have to experience it. I already got a 4K TV now, but I'm gonna buy me another 4K.
Did you play Forza Motorsport 6?
I played it when they offered it as a demo.
Then you played Forza Motorsport 7.
Well, I want to see if it's gonna.
I don't think
look.
so. I think they're gonna be. There's gonna be some slight difference in the 2 games. They have to. This is their breakout moment right here. So I don't think we're gonna get the same game that we got a few years ago. I think we're gonna get an even better game. Now, you guys might disagree, but I think this is their breakout year. I think we're underestimating the devs on this game, and I'm probably saying it because I'm a fan of the series, but I really believe that this game is going to have to compete with Gran Turismo, and Need for Speed is coming down the pipe as well. So I think they have something for us that you haven't seen yet.
And the crew too, maybe.
And the crew. And the crew.
And Project Cars 2 and
Ain't nobody thinking about Project Cars. Project Cars is gonna be littered with bugs like the last one.
Here's the thing. You guys mentioned, Need for Speed has been garbage for like almost 10 years now.
No, you're
it's like
smoking
complete
crack.
Garbage.
Last game was the most garbage game they ever made. You're smoking crack now.
No, the one they took you out the car and make you run from helicopters was probably one of the worst ones they ever released.
Wasn't that the last one?
No, the last one was the one that required you to be online always.
Oh yeah,
the
last one was.
And they had put
the last one I thoroughly enjoyed.
I think you're talking about Need for Speed Scout. I'm not sure. Is he talking about Need for Speed Scout?
I don't know, but the last one I enjoyed is Need for Speed Carbon and Most Wanted.
There's the greatest Need for Speed. Now here's which Most Wanted, because they had to remaster or remake Most Wanted.
No, the original one, not that
the original
one.
from 05, right? Yeah, all right. Most Wanted and Need for Speed Underground, and obviously the original Hot Pursuit were like the greatest.
Hot Pursuit was amazing.
Greatest Need for Speed games to ever launch. Everything there and after has been and I have no faith in this Need for Speed. I have no faith.
I think this story mode is gonna make or break this game.
What, like the last one?
No, the last one was bad though. It was a bad game.
That was the one that had the FMV, right?
Yeah, it was a bad game. The cars sucked. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like these guys, the dialogue in the game was horrible.
Yeah, I remember the times where Need for Speeds were like the best-selling game of the year, and they were fantastic.
Yeah.
It hasn't been like that in a long time.
Yeah.
And now they don't even do them every. You know what I want EA to do? Cancel Need for Speed and bring back Burnout Paradise.
I would support that. Mm-hmm. I would support that. I definitely would support that.
Yeah, Burnout was pretty good, but the people that made Need for Speed aren't the people that made Burnout. It wasn't like it was who was it?
Criterion made those, and then they bought Criterion, and then like they kind of
put them in the closet.
They kind of like made them dwindle, and they like a lot of the studio left to do other things. And Ghost, I believe, was the developer of the last few Need for Speeds. So,
but on a side note, we are kind of getting off topic.
All right, and I had to step up for a minute. But like as far as Forza, nobody has nothing else to say in regards to the next Forza Motorsport. I think it's gonna look god awesome.
Until Forza lets me shoot rockets at people, I'm good on it.
Well, since Microsoft has this partnership with Sega, maybe they'll bring back full auto, and they'll use like the Crackdown engine or some shit like that. That would be awesome.
The only question that remains for Forza is if it's launching in September like every other Forza game, or if it's launching with Scorpio. That's about it. Well, I vote for September.
Yeah, it would. I want to say September.
Launch with the Xbox One.
5 launch with the Xbox One. And then Horizons typically come out in September. The mainline series they come out in September as well, or October?
They all pretty much come out in September.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I don't think it. I think it comes if it's a late September, then it's coming out in September. I feel like I think it'll be like a late September release if they do it. If it's not a Scorpio launch, but.
I hope they don't bundle it, because I think Forza 7 could stand on its own. I don't want them to bundle it. It did well last year without being bundled. And then they bundled it.
It was bundled.
Not at first it wasn't, I don't think.
Yeah, they bundled it with a blue console, with a blue Xbox.
Yeah, for Forza 6.
It was a blue Xbox. I wanted that Xbox.
But 5 came out with the console, and that came out in November. Like, I mean, all of them since then definitely they did come out in September and everything. 6 is a isolated case in this perspective because, whenever the 360 launched, I mean, they were still they still had Project Gotham Racing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might have been at the end of the original Xbox and everything, and so Forza, was fresh for the 360 and everything. So I guess maybe 5 would be the isolated incident since it released in November.
Mm-hmm.
I see this releasing alongside Scorpio. I can't see them releasing it before then.
Somebody breathed that they were.
Well,
gonna say something.
I think the way I see it is like I think they'll go for the two-pronged approach. They'll get the people who can't wait to buy it immediately, like everybody, and then when the Scorpio does come out, there'll be people who want content for their Xboxes, and then they'll purchase Forza again instead of just waiting for the
check
game.
on up. Mm-hmm.
Do you think
That's
they'll
what I think's
bundle
gonna
it?
happen.
You think they'll bundle it or by itself?
Maybe they'll bundle it next year.
Mhm.
I can't see them bundling. Well, maybe they will because they did bundle like Halo. What were the bundles for Xbox One S last year? It was Halo, and the
Halo,
Master Chief Collection.
and Master Chief Collection, and
They did a Gears bundle.
A Gears bundle. The
They
Ultimate
did a
Edition.
Battlefield bundle, right?
Yeah.
Battle and the Star
Minecraft
Star
bundle.
Wars and the Minecraft bundle. Star Wars bundle.
There's no Star Wars.
It wasn't. It wasn't. No, that was a PS. It was PS4. There was the Minecraft bundle and the Madden bundle. The Madden bundle. That's
Madden
what it was.
bundle. They might do those again. They do have the Madden deal. It's possible they bundle Scorpio at a higher price with a game or something like Madden or like Crackdown or something. It's entirely possible. I don't know if you'll see custom consoles so soon for Scorpio.
No.
But you'll probably. I wouldn't be surprised if like I don't know if we'll talk. Well, maybe we'll talk like the pricing and what they could do with it. But
and Megan the Cat just brought up a good thing. So, and I don't want to come off topic, but do you think they're going to bring that 4K TV bundle back? Now that we have the 4K, a true 4K console.
Eventually, I don't know at launch, not probably not.
I think
there'll be separate sales, like at Best Buy or Walmart will host like a ultimate 4K bundle with it. Like if you for like you know how when new consoles release and like and stores, retail stores make their own bundles. I'm pretty sure Best Buy will have one set up that's like provided by Best Buy but not by Microsoft.
I think that would be a smart idea if they partner with people because, let's be honest, to get the full impact of Scorpio, you're going to need a 4K TV, and people are going to be looking for that now. For the adoption rate's going to start getting pretty high, so people are going to be looking, for a Scorpio plus a TV. So you might see some retailers do that, and I think that would be a smart thing to do.
Yeah, it would be.
Another game I want to talk about is State of Decay 2. State of Decay 2. What is the? I want to hear a best and worst case scenarios for a State of Decay 2 presentation, man. And let's start with Gaming Addict here.
How'd I know you was gonna say me first?
Because you said this game, State of Decay, has a potential. You think this game will? I don't know if these words are.
I think
words will shit on Days Gone.
Yeah, no, that is exactly what I said. And it's not like so much like Days Gone appeals to a different. They're both kind of the same apocalyptic game, but I feel like Days Gone is more of that that aggressive action orientated game, and State of Decay isn't that kind of game. It's more about survival, management. It's more about stuff like that than Days Gone, and I feel like people are going to play State of Decay longer than Days Gone.
Okay, that
I
makes
can
sense.
co-sign that.
I can co-sign that too. Like because I don't foresee multiplayer in like Days Gone or co-op, and it's like when you beat it, you beat it. You know what I mean? And that's it.
I mean, they had the breakout game modes in the first State of Decay, so I'm assuming that's probably coming back. And that was like probably 100 hours to get through all that, and they were very challenging. I don't know if you did them, Gaming Effect. Did you do those breakouts?
Yeah, I did them.
They are extremely challenging.
Yeah, they're very tedious too.
You get to that higher tiers, and you can get like one or two shotted by regular zombies. So, I mean, when it comes to, let's just say the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is they go up there and they do a really bad gameplay. They just, they show aspects of the game that no one wants to see. Like they do like maybe a couple minutes of the first mission Like, that's not necessarily a bad, way to present it, but I feel like, kind of like how Ubisoft did the Division, to where it goes from one aspect to another, and then it keeps going until all the people on the team have went. Do you remember when they did that Division showcase?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the way they should do State of Decay. It shows one dude and running from a horde of zombies, and he's about to get in. A zombie grabs him, and you see, and then it shifts to the other player, and he snipes the dude that's grabbing him. So it shows that there's more people on the field than once, and it just keeps rotating to all four of them till it shows the perspective of all four of them, and then maybe I don't think it's going to be long, but I think the best case scenario is they need to show how in detail the multiplayer mechanics of this game works, because the co-op mechanics of this game works, because the first one we didn't have that. So people need to see how exactly, do you do the base building and stuff with four people and not just one?
Yeah, Megan the Cat made a good point. They need to show encounters, not just a dude wandering around. And I agree with that. They really need to show skirmishes and show some fights, man. Some action.
V Gator said worst case scenario is Microsoft starts showing controllers instead of games.
Yeah, but if you want a PS4 podcast, maybe it's one down the road somewhere. But I think State of Decay, this is for Undead. I think this is a make or break game for them. If this doesn't show improve, I think this will be the last State of Decay.
Yeah, best case scenario for the game is it's incredibly polished with the bigger budget that they got. Unlike from what I've been told, because I didn't play the first one, that the first game was kind of a mess. So best case scenario, it's insanely polished. 4-player co-op stuff is done extremely well, and it's a blast to play. Worst case scenario, well, it's like the first game and it's not polished. The co-op doesn't work right, and people get bored of the game fast. That'd be the worst case scenario. But I'm hearing good things about the game. I would not be surprised if the game comes out sooner than you think. Because I don't know, launching that game this holiday, I think is a bad move. I honestly don't think Sony or Microsoft should launch their exclusives in the holidays anymore.
I think State of Decay comes out in September, August, somewhere around that.
Yeah. The first game came out at the end of June, if I'm not mistaken, and it sold extremely well. Maybe we get one of those where it's like, and it's coming out next week, or maybe sometime in July. I mean, we don't know. But I can't see it coming out in October or November or December. It'll just get crushed, in my opinion, by the other games.
See, I think. Go ahead.
Well, you got to be very careful with these games, right? You have to prop them up, and you have to give them good release dates. Look what happened to Sunset Overdrive. Great game, terrible release date. Never see any other Sunset Overdrives because of it. You could say the same thing about Recore. Mediocre game, but it was launched also right at the start of the holiday season, and then people didn't buy it because they were going to buy other stuff. So Microsoft and Sony, if you've seen some of their stuff, they've been very cognizant of the release schedule. They try to separate their games from the bigger games. So I think State of Decay should launch in either June, July, or August. And if it's not coming out in those 3 months, then it should come out maybe in January or sometime start of next year. I think you just avoid September onwards.
See, I think State of Decay, if they do it right, and I feel they will, it should be an October release, whether it be mid to late October, and I feel like they can do a lot with its marketing and collaborate with AMC and get a lot of marketing time during Walking Dead premiere this fall, and I feel like that would certainly help. And I feel like for people who's getting Scorpio, you got your you got the, I want to say, the primary Xbox players, and you got your Xbox fans that they will pick up State of Decay. Now I don't think State of Decay will do numbers like Gears or Halo did this generation, but I feel like it could do what maybe Rise or what Dead Rising have done on the Xbox coming out this holiday with some of that hype behind it. And then it depends. Like if it has an amazing showing at E3 and everybody's raving about it, like I feel like that can have a long lasting impact and help generate a success for this game. And I think one of the things I noticed this is going to sound like is it going to sound too great coming from me? I feel like a lot of games that Xbox demonstrate, whether it be during E3 or when it's released an exclusive, I feel like they don't get that praise, even if it's a really good game. It's like there's restraint when it comes to praising it, like it should be if it's a good game. And even though Forza Horizon was it 2 and 3 had great reviews, Halo had a good reviews. It's like they all fell short of like, oh no, this is like, it's not outstanding. We won't like gloat this like we're gonna gloat like this game and whatnot and get you all excited for. And I feel like if Microsoft leaves an impression with a game like State of Decay 2, that will have a lasting effect. Because if people are constantly talking about it and talking positively about it, and it's not like hidden behind like fanboy wars or anything like that, it will be okay.
Well, Microsoft has to spend some money on marketing this game. This game can help them sell the next console. They really have to. If this is a good game, and they need to really put their money behind the State of Decay 2, man. Because they, like someone said, you can't depend on Crackdown 3 to sell an Xbox Scorpio. I'm sorry.
If I
State of Decay,
Microsoft,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
if I were Microsoft, and this would be my so worst case scenario, people are like me and they're tired of the zombie genre, but that's not the case. State of Decay 2 is going to be about zombies and it's coming out. Now that that's out of the way, the worst case scenario is that they're going to show this kind of how Ubisoft showed off The Division with a very scripted co-op sound to it. And at the very end, somebody comes and they steal all the loot from the dark zone. If I was Microsoft, in the best case scenario, you just launched this new streaming which happens to allow you to stream. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
It allows you to stream, 4 people at a time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And State of Decay 2 is going to be co-op, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Microsoft, why not use that while you're showing it off at E3?
Yeah, that would be pretty dope. Now you're going in and out, but I'm just gonna. This is what I assume you said. It looks like you said have people show like the cooperative mode and show like an example of it on like a Mixer.
Yeah. Why not do that? Because I mean, the other way, it's so scripted and it's so boring, and you could tell that like it's somebody wrote this and it's fake. Do something genuine. Use your products that you have in front of you, especially ones that you're trying to get out there. So now, not only are you showing how fun you can have on Mixer, but you're also showing this cooperative game that you are trying to get sales out on.
Yeah, no, that's true because kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You do a big a demonstration of the game, and you show off another feature that the console has and another service that that you have with it. So yeah, I can't hate on that. I cannot hate that. Another game I want to talk about is this one. I want to talk about Cuphead. Does Cuphead is Cuphead going to be at E3 this year?
I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it released at E3. Like literally. By the way, Cuphead's available right now. Go play it.
You think it's like ready to?
They said mid 2017. We are in mid 2017.
But I
So,
feel like they've been saying that the last 3 years. Every time we've been
well,
about
it
the
is
game, it's
2 people making the game. Got to cut 'em some slack.
Yeah.
They are expanding upon their vision because the game was originally going to be just a boss rush game, but they got an influx of cash from Microsoft to make it console exclusive. And with that, they built an overworld, they built the shop, they built platforming sections, right? So they said mid 2017. Don't be surprised if it's one of those you can play it now type announcements. And if not, then I see it coming out by August.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna give you my best case scenario is that the game, the best case scenario. I don't think, even though if they, it would be exciting if they said you could play it now. They want this game to sell. This looked like it would be honestly like a $39.99 game. I'd say the best case scenario, it launches in July at $39.99. That the newly added missions, like the platforming, looks great, and it balances out with the boss fights, right? Worst case scenario is they show a trailer, a familiar trailer of the game yet, and you hear no mention of the release date. That's my worst case scenario. Or it doesn't show up at E3 at all. Those are my 2 worst case scenarios for Cuphead.
I would say the best case scenario is exactly what Rand said, is that this is available to play now. The worst case scenario is that they do that at the forefront of the E3 conference, because they're going to lose about a third of the watchers who are going to go jump to go play Cuphead.
That is a good point. They're like, it's available now, but we're not unlocking it till the conference is over.
Yeah, but you gotta assume like it still has a download. Like that.
Let's be real here, kid. That game's not going to be very big.
Kid doesn't want that to happen because he's going to be at E3 in the conference, and we'll all be playing Cuphead.
Yeah, if I got any like tip that was gonna happen, I'd bring my Xbox One with me to the hotel. Even then, I still couldn't play it immediately after. Anyway, but I don't know. It would be nice if they did that, but I feel like I don't think that's gonna happen. And I feel like the best case, it has to launch this summer. And the worst case is like we don't have a release date. If we don't have a release date at E3, I don't want a damn window. I don't want a launch window. I need a release date.
They can't trot that game up on stage and give another no release date. Like they just wouldn't show it if that was the case.
Cuphead's going to be at Xbox. It's going to be a launch title on the Xbox too.
And hey, OG, you got anything to say about Cuphead before I skip to the next tab?
I guess that's a no.
That's a no? All right.
I thought I was talking. Yeah, I had my mic muted. I'm sorry. First of all, I want to say I love the game. Like I'm a throwback cartoon guy, Heckle and Jekyll, Popeye, and stuff like that, and that's what it reminds me of when I see it. I think the best case scenario is they release the game while at E3, and so people can head to their hotels or head home and play it or whatever the case may be. But I think the worst case scenario is they get on stage and say Cuphead, and then they give it a date, and that date is 2018. I think that's the worst case scenario.
So all y'all best case scenarios is that it releases immediately,
Yep.
pretty much.
Yep.
I just don't think that's happening. Y'all all gonna be disappointed if that's the best case scenario.
We're already heartbroken over it. There's not much more they can do to us over this game.
Yeah,
I love it.
I do not want to see another Idea Xbox montage because I feel like only one of the games that's in the montage releases that year. like even a lot of this stuff looks interesting, and then like a lot of the majority of the stuff that was shown has not yet released. So
can I say one more thing before we move on? One more thing about Cuphead. Sure. I'm not saying Cuphead is an Xbox seller, but I swear for everyone that has an Xbox, I guarantee you that they will buy this game. I think this Cuphead appeals to a lot of people, random people at that. Cuphead, it looks amazing. I think it's a good game.
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at the art style. For
Oh
me,
man.
like that's what like attracted me to something like Borderlands. So the art style. I don't care too much for platformers at all. The Behemoth might make the only platformers that I'll play whenever they release things. Like Alien Hominid and Battle
Oh
Block
yeah.
Theater and Castle Crashers. And I love their sense of humor, but just the art direction and the art style that Cuphead is, to me, immediately I was like, hell yeah, let me get this.
I don't know why I think the achievements are gonna be hard in this game. Like
Well, because
I
the
don't
game's
know.
supposed to be incredibly difficult.
It looks
Ah,
amazing. Like if
it
you
looks
grew up on
amazing.
I'm 40, so I grew up on these cartoons with this artsy style, man. I just think it's amazing how it looks, man. It just takes me back to the early 80s of Tom and Jerry and stuff like that, man. It just I don't know, man. I'm willing to support it. I'm willing to support it. I hope there's DLC and everything, man.
No. Let's let it be an amazing 20 to 30, even $40 game. And it sounds like for what they're adding to it, the platforming levels and whatnot, it's probably going to make the game much longer. Maybe it becomes less difficult because if it was dedicated to being a boss fighting game, I can imagine these fights being extremely long and difficult. I don't have a problem with it, but I have less room for headaches.
I
So,
think when it comes out, it's also going to get a Game of the Year nod. I don't think it's going to win, but I think it'll get a Game of the Year nod.
or yeah, like Inside. Didn't Inside get nominated for Game of the Year or something like that?
Um,
Was it?
I don't
I
know,
know it
man.
was nominated for like in a big award, but so let's talk about Crackdown 3. Let's talk about Crackdown 3, man. What is the best and worst case scenario for this IP that hasn't been around for about 7 years and is back with the cloud? And I want to know what you guys.
This game is by far the one that I feel like Microsoft can benefit the most on, and at the same time, it's the one that can break them the most. Like this game could come out there and it could be the true reason that you want an Xbox platform unless you have PC. Or on the other side, it could come out completely buggy. It could come out the servers are crashed, it can't work. They could have downsized what they promised from the last time we seen this game, so it's not even what people expected. So I don't even really like with this game. I don't know which way it's going to go. I'd say it's 50-50. It could go bad for them. It could go good for them.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like the best case scenario for this game is it's something truly unique we've never experienced, before. A open world multiplayer game where literally everything can be destroyed and you can just have a shit ton of fun with your buddies, right? Like that's kind of for me the aspect that is the most intriguing, the most interesting, and the one that has the most potential to get people to notice. All right, yeah, this is something cool. I might need to get an Xbox or play it on Windows 10 or whatever. Worst case scenario, what they've been hyping up for so long doesn't work right, all that stuff, and the game gets delayed till next year. I think even with that said, I think the game comes out this year, and I think it launches with Scorpio. I think it's a launch title with Scorpio. It launches the day the system comes out.
I'm gonna put you guys on some game. Crackdown 3. First of all, I don't know if you guys remember the Crackdown 2 fiasco.
Terrible
That's
game.
number one. Yeah, that's number one. So this game will only appeal to casuals, people who are looking to buy the Scorpio, because Crackdown 3 will look good to them, colorful and all of this. But I'm gonna tell you the game that's gonna kill Crackdown 3 if they release it in 2017. Agents of Mayhem is gonna kill this dead on the water.
I doubt that.
I believe so.
Agents of Mayhem's dead on arrival.
No, I think Crackdown 3 will die because of Agents of Mayhem. Another thing, I also believe that everybody that's a Xbox supporter, a big time Xbox supporter, we don't care about Crackdown 3, man. We're not looking at to be the messiah to save the Xbox.
Speak for yourself, fella.
Well, you're on the island by yourself, broski, because a lot of us don't give a damn about Crackdown 3. I think I'm not a big Agents of Mayhem King Los, but what I'm saying is this looks exactly almost like Agents of Mayhem.
Someone said Agents of what?
It looks exactly like Agents of Mayhem, and I think Agents of Mayhem is gonna knock this game around because no one really cares about Crackdown 3.
To be honest, I don't think no one cares about Agents of Mayhem.
Nobody cares
I
about
disagree.
Agents of Mayhem either.
I disagree. We'll see.
I mean, if it was Saints Row, I'd be like, all right, dude, I'm with you. It's Saints fucking Row. Let's do this shit. It's one of my favorite franchises. But it's Agents of Mayhem, and I think that game bombs so spectacularly, it's not even going to be funny.
We ain't gonna even see another Saints because this game's gonna single-handedly kill that whole brand.
I mean, first off, Saints Agents of Mayhem is single player only. Like, there's no co-op in that game whatsoever. I think once people learn that,
there is co-op.
I'm pretty sure there's no co-op.
Oh, there is co-op. I was just watching the stream not too long, unless they're doing a No Man's Sky and Lion.
I'm pretty sure there's no co-op now. I know you can switch in between characters.
Nah, it's single player.
But I'm pretty sure there's no co-op.
Well, if it's single player, then they're stupid and it's dead.
You said this is going to kill Crackdown.
I believe it. I believe it. Yo, Crackdown is trash.
Oh my
You're the only one anticipating Crackdown 3.
Oh my!
Here's the thing. Okay, let me step in. Let me step in. Okay, I played Crackdown 1. I thought the concept behind the game was fire. I thought the game was fun. I played Crackdown 2. It definitely went south. I felt like it was rushed, but like Crackdown 2 wasn't a trash game. It was just comparing it to its predecessor. It was night and day. It still was fun as hell. But there was no real, there's no real foundation around Crackdown 2. But they haven't showed us a lot on Crackdown 3 in terms of story-based content like that. But I feel like you're gonna have way more fun in Crackdown than Agents of Mayhem. Like, it's not even funny how much more fun you're gonna have on this game than
I don't think so. I think that if Agents of Mayhem dies, then that's definitely me.
Crackdown 3 is single player is gonna die. It's going to die.
So what do you think Crackdown 3 is going to do?
Let me guess.
What do you think Crackdown 3 is going to do?
When me and the rest of the Planet Xbox crew are playing Crackdown 3, shooting each other out of buildings and shit, you're gonna be sitting there playing fucking Broken Friday the 13th, pretending to have fun and shit, while we're fucking screaming.
Don't do it, bro, because I play way more games than you. Don't take it there. Don't do that.
Here we go.
I've been beating you on a monthly basis.
You didn't beat more games than me this year. Stop. Don't do that.
All right, how many games you beat this year?
This year?
Yeah.
Oh, over 40. That's a fact.
Over 40?
Yes.
Over 40?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not gonna sit there and do
but you took it there. You took it there. I did.
I didn't say that. I said while we're having fun on Crackdown 3,
you went a little step further. But
no, I was talking about Crackdown 3. I was like,
let's stay on the podcast. Let's stay on the podcast.
No, that's that. But we're talking about Crackdown
3 is not. No one here is saying Crackdown 3 is a good game, but you. So stop saying everybody else on the podcast.
Well, none of us can say that because none of us played it.
Nobody think about the game. There's more info on Agents of Mayhem, and I know that's going to be trash than Crackdown.
Crackdown. I'm not saying it's going to be great, but I'm not going to sit there and be like, all right, it's trash.
I do have a question. How many people in the comment section think that Agents of Mayhem's going to be a good game because I'm really curious. You're the only person I know besides Gladiator that said this game's going to be good.
I mean, it could be good. I mean, I like Volition. I just don't think anybody cares about that game in comparison to Saints Row. I think,
Dude, it's going to be another version of Saints Row.
that's fine.
stupidly.
I'm cool. I
Megatron.
love Saints Row.
Yeah, but it's not
Megatron.
like the first two Saints Rows. Like
Megatron.
if it was,
I agree. Crackdown 3 can be huge, but what is the chance of it being huge?
it was pretty.
Real.
About the,
Crackdown 2 was
the
trash.
same chance of Agents of Mayhem being successful.
Why do you think I brought Agents of Mayhem up?
Because you
That
thought it
when
was
I
going to be
look
better
at
than Crackdown.
No, when I look at Crackdown 3, that's what I see. Agents of Mayhem.
Didn't Agents of Mayhem? Didn't that get started on development after Crackdown? So wouldn't
Yeah, of course.
wouldn't they
Of
be
course.
copying off of Crackdown?
It doesn't
Agents
matter.
Isn't Agents of
Doesn't
Mayhem
matter,
a
but that-
Crackdown clone?
You're not understanding what I'm saying here. I'm saying when
But I
I
don't-
look at that, that's all I see.
I
It
don't-
just screams out to my head. It doesn't matter which
I don't
game
see-
was developed first.
I don't
But
see
you
how
were
you
already
can look
proclaiming Crackdown
Yeah.
3 like horrible or whack. Like
I don't
like,
see how you can look at Agents of Mayhem.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna switch it then. How about this? When I look at Agents of Mayhem, I see Crackdown 3. It doesn't matter how you bounce it and flip it. That's what I see. You can't change my opinion because you disagree with it. Both games are shit. That's
How's
what I
Crackdown
see.
3 shit. Nobody's played
Yo,
the beta.
Crackdown 3 been worked on for years, and we're just now getting ready to get it. And they're talking about this cloud. Listen, I love Xbox.
Plenty
I
of games
love
has
the
been worked on
Xbox.
for, like,
But
over
I'm not
10 years.
I'm not gonna lie. Crackdown 3, I'm not impressed, especially after what happened with Crackdown 2.
Yeah, you don't have to lie, but it would be a lie saying it's whack and nobody's touched it.
Well, I'm going off based off Crackdown 2.
How can you go off like a 9-year-old game though? Like I don't get
It
that
doesn't
logic.
matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
That's
matter.
what I'm going at.
That's like
That's what I'm going off because that's all I have to go off, and I'm going to do that until you show me something else. Bottom line, show me something.
Let me butt in real quick. You guys are arguing about Crackdown. We're not talking about Gears of War or Halo. Crackdown.
your
Really?
point.
Crackdown.
I'm curious what that
They're
statement
betting
was.
they're betting the bank on Crackdown right now.
Exactly.
That
thank
I
you.
have to be with the effect on this.
So let me get this
Crackdown
straight.
is
You'd
hell.
rather than bet the bank on Halo or Gears and not Crackdown. Like I thought we want more than just Halo and Gears.
But I'm saying, but if you got to protect your company, are you going to? If you have to protect your company, are you going to bank it on a sure thing like Halo or Gears, or are you going to bank it on Crackdown 3?
Well, I ain't banking
But
it
no
on
one
Agents of
knows what
Mayhem.
Crackdown's gonna be.
I'm just going off its predecessors. Would you bank it on it?
Like
They had one good game, one not so good game.
Okay, with that logic, gaming effect. How do you speak so highly about State of Decay 2 when it's coming off its predecessor?
When did I speak highly? I said I want State of Decay to be a great game. Don't put words in my mouth. Show me where I said State of Decay is going to be a great game. I said I want it to succeed.
You have
because
said
I
in
want
private
it.
chat
No, I
that
have-
it's
no,
going
I
to be a
haven't.
good game.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
All right,
I said
all
I
right.
want the game to be a great game. I want the
All
game
right.
to survive, and I'm gonna support the game.
Okay. Let's move on. Let's do. We're gonna talk about the Xbox conference. Like, what's the best case scenario, worst case scenario? This is the make it or break year for the Big M and the Xbox brand. So I want to know how they're gonna screw this up, or how they're gonna claim king and walk home with the victory. We're gonna start with Dizzy.
worst case scenario. We're still doing worst and best case scenario about this, right?
That is correct.
Okay, just want to make sure. Best case scenario, they got other IPs other than what they're showing on the listing so far, or what we are assuming is on the listing. Worst case scenario, they don't have any other IPs to show off, or they just have CGI trailers. Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
I just got called a hard eight wannabe. I'd rather you call me a nigga.
Man. All right. So, Ran.
There's a lot to this one. Best case scenario for me personally, like they don't mention VR at all, which apparently is a thing. I saw The Verge say that today, so that's already one step in the correct direction. No VR, no AR. Um, they spend minimal time on Scorpio and what it can do, and they get that done at the beginning. They show off some really cool looking third party games that get people talking. They show off at least a minimum of one new IP to further show their commitment to first party games. And I want the conference to be light on talk, more on longer gameplay demos, because that's what's important. And it's got to be paced good. Like the pacing is also very important because every conference there is that lull, and it's usually around when Minecraft comes out because none of us care about Minecraft. And you're just like, come on, get rid of Minecraft. But worst case scenario, they spend way too much time on Scorpio. They bank everything on third party. They don't show any new IPs. They trot out VR like a bunch of, idiots and they know it doesn't demo well. And eventually, at the end of the show, they price the system at $500, ensuring that only the super hardcore buy the system and nobody else does.
Okay. All right. Lord Attic.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the. I feel like one of the worst case scenarios that they spend too long talking about the Scorpio in general. But with them, reaching out to Digital Foundry and stating the specs, I feel like they're not going to do that to an extent. Obviously, they still have to do the price, the release, and the name. So, and the visuals of what the console itself looks like. So obviously that's going to be there. I don't think maybe 15 minutes tops talking about the Scorpio. I feel like they're going to let the gameplay afterwards cover that. But, the worst case scenario is, like I said, it's talking 20, 25 minutes about the Scorpio, then going into Minecraft, and then going into VR. and, spending too long talking about the actual content they have now and not about the content that we haven't seen, like seeing more of not necessarily Crackdown, but seeing like a 20-minute demo on Sea of Thieves. Like when it comes to asking me what the worst case scenarios, I could tell you 1,000 worst case scenarios. They could go out there and literally spend the entire conference almost talking about Project Scorpio. Like the only thing I can really say is they got to cut the Scorpio talk down. They got to go out there and show a couple new IPs, especially if that rumor is correct about Ninja Gaiden. The best Xbox conference I could think of would be that leak with the $399 price. Like I think there's not a lot better realistic expectations you can have than that leak with $399 price.
I'm going to say best case scenario, they should have like Morgan Webb walk down the aisle with a little backpack on and pull out the small Scorpio, place it on stage, plug it up, turn it on like they did the Xbox 360 back into 05. That would be dope, right? But that's not realistic. I say the worst. I'm gonna start with worst case scenarios. Worst case scenarios would be. A worst case scenario would be that the show is dominated by third-party showings, and that we don't see any first-party or exclusive games that are due for next year. I think even though we'll be all drowning in the hype and the excitement of what was being shown, and we'll be covered for this year, I also be at the same time think it would be pretty bad if we see nothing for next year.
Someone said in the comment section, worst case scenario, Dawn Metric comes out.
And I think the best case scenario for the Xbox conference is that Project Scorpio comes in at $399. They do confirm the games running at its native 4K resolution. I feel like they should also, what else? show us games, some surprises, whether it be Fable, um, whether it be a Fable, some new IPs for next year that we could get a hint of. Um, it has to be. They have to come out and be able to. We should be able to see, because one thing what Phil Spencer said that stuck with me for a long time, when they were talking about Scorpio, they were interviewing about Scorpio. He said it's going to be a demonstrable difference. So as long as they're able to show off 4K, and maybe they won't be able to show off HDR or anything like that, but show like that, wow, with our own eyes from our own displays, that wow, we haven't seen anything that looks this good on consoles, right? And they're able to deliver that message, they'll be in good hands. But Cole, what about you, man?
I feel as though they have to show games. That's the best case scenario is they show some IPs surprisingly on the stage that nobody's seen coming. That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is that they get up there and they constantly refer back to the Xbox Scorpio. They constantly refer back to how powerful it is. It's the most powerful console ever. I think they already proved their point with the Digital Foundry showcase. I don't think they should spend no more than 15, 20 minutes on the Scorpio. And I think they just have to get their point across with games, whether it's third party or exclusives. Hopefully exclusives.
They need to be straight to the point.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, Rand, someone said in the comment section that he wants you to reveal the Scorpio on stage.
No, I don't want that job, man. Like I was nervous enough just being on the Daily Show last year. I don't want to be in front of everybody revealing the Scorpio. Kid should go up there and reveal the Scorpio. That way he can get up there with Phil. Come on, Phil. Let's show this off together, right? The best spot.
Yeah,
The best
I
spot
might
and
oversell
Phil
it.
unveiling Scorpio together.
Yeah, I might oversell the thing, you know.
This thing, I could just see Kid now up there be like, let me reveal the Xbox One X. It plays your games, it watches your movies, it does your apps, it also does your laundry, cooks your food.
No, but I got many ways of how they should introduce it. I don't think they should just pull off a curtain or show it on the screen. I think I like the idea of when somebody just brought it. Like, what's that girl they had it in like a pouch or like this like bag, and she just like took it out the bag on stage and just like plugged the thing up and turned it on. I thought that shit was awesome. That sticks with me. Oh man!
Someone in the comments says Spoon will hold the Scorpio like Samba.
I don't know, man. I think I don't know, man. If someone said in the comment section a little while ago that this is a make or break E3 for Xbox, what do you guys think about that?
I agree.
I don't believe that.
I'd agree.
I
think it's one of the most important E3s they've had in a very long time.
What do you think, Rand?
I think it is an important E3 because Sony seems to be dominating even more than they used to, not only in sales, which is nobody should really care about, unless you're like an investor in Xbox, but also games. Mm-hmm. Sony just seems to get a plethora of games lately. And yeah, this has been a bad year for Xbox. I've been the first to admit it. Like, the exclusive content has been severely lacking. Halo Wars 2 was a great game. Voodoo Vince and Phantom Dust, nobody asked for those two games. And that is it. That's all we've gotten. So it looks terrible in comparison to the PlayStation 4. And then PlayStation 4's future lineup looks freaking amazing, while Xbox's future lineup is we don't know about, because all we know is the games that are coming this year. So I think it's important for Xbox to instill faith back into their fans, to show their fans that, hey, we're still on this road and we're just taking a different path. We still have games planned for the future. Here they are. We just don't like giving them out. Because I think that's people see And you know the saying, the grass is always greener on the other side, right? People see the games that Sony's making for their first party, and they want those games. They want Horizon, they want Spider-Man, they want God of War, they want all those games. They want them on Xbox. But then there's nothing on the Xbox side where you could point to and be like, that's a game I can wrap my arm around for 2019 or 2018, because Xbox does things differently. So yeah, in that regard, I think it's important that Microsoft shows their commitment to first party and new IP, so it kind of can calm some people, like bring down their blood pressure, because people kind of get upset over this stuff. At the same time, though, I think the price of the Scorpio is going to be very telling on what Microsoft's future strategy is. I think if it's $400, that signifies that they are going really aggressive after the Pro and Sony. If they price it at $500, it probably explains why they didn't try to get any marketing for any games this year. They'd rather sit back and enjoy their profit margins on the system and enjoy the money that they make on the services and subscriptions that we give them, rather than competing. Because they may have come to the realization that they're okay being second place as long as they're making a buttload of money.
I said that before too. Yeah.
So, but a lot of fans don't like that mentality. They want it to be like it's sports, and they're like, no, you go for first no matter what.
Yeah.
They're a business. They're in it to make money. Maybe they realize that, hey, right now we can't compete with Sony, so we're going to rest on our back on our laurels, make some money, and then we'll try to make a play in a couple years from now. I don't know.
That's what, see, Xbox fans are really aggressive, and I'm an Xbox fan. So, but I'm gonna always speak the truth. So I just want to say, Master Jazz, what I mean by make or break is, if they don't have a good conference, does this push them even further back? So they have to play catch up from 2 or 3 more years. Right now they're in they have a chance to get a little even with Sony in the next year or two.
I think this is the first E3 that we will know for a fact by the end of E3 if they're trying to compete or not. Exactly.
That's all it is. Are you going to compete, or are you cool with playing second fiddle? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Are you want to compete, or are you cool with being second place? I'm not cool with having a second place trophy. If I was the head of the Xbox division. I'm not the head of the Xbox division, so I'm going to support Sony and Xbox because I own both consoles. But if I'm the head of the Xbox division and working at Microsoft, I'm not cool with getting a second place trophy. I'm not into that. I want to compete on a grand scale. That's all I'm saying.
Understandable. So this is really the last traditional episode of Planet Xbox before Microsoft's big showing at E3.
Wait, are you changing the name to like whatever the Scorpio's called? Is it going to be like Planet Xbox One X next week? Is that what you're going to start calling it?
I should. No, I don't. No, I wouldn't. It depends. If the name's dope, I mean,
no,
I
you're not doing that, kid.
But no. I'm just saying like traditional pod, because I know me and AJ is going to be doing some like mini-sodes and stuff like that at the show. And of course Cole. Everyone who's at E3, I know Cole and AJ is going to be there, so we'll do some mini-sodes. So it'll be a different setup. It'll be like pretty, I think for the most part, our faces. But this is really it. I can't wait. Next Tuesday, we would know everything, right? Right, we have all the information. I guess at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, like on Monday morning when you wake up, what are you hoping that your opinion on Xbox or what 2017
Monday
has to
morning,
hold.
you'll know like right at Monday at like 5 p.m. because they're at like 2 p.m. Pacific. What do you?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying like after the day's over, like
Oh, so
now
if you
what?
like sleep on it, like I gotta go to bed and
Yeah.
think about this Xbox stuff. We'll see how I feel in the morning.
Yeah. Like it's like people like you after the hype is always like okay, this is it. This whole remember we've been talking about Scorpio since last June.
It is going to be
before
kind
that.
of weird to not hear Scorpio being thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. What if they call it Scorpio? Xbox One Scorpio.
Yeah. What is up with that trademark?
That
You
one
got
gotta
any-
go though. Xbox One Scorpio is cool, but Xbox Scorpio is way cooler.
But they just trademarked this like the Scorpio looking S.
I mean,
like,
they're going to keep the one in its name. I can almost guarantee that. But for the most part, even if they keep it Xbox One Scorpio, people are going to call it Scorpio. They're not going to call it like Xbox One Scorpio.
what if it's not called Xbox at all and it's just called Scorpio?
I doubt it.
What is that S for?
Scorpio.
But the thing is, why trademark the code name?
I mean,
Who knows?
we don't know if they're trademarking the code name. They're just trademarking an S. It could. I mean, theoretically, was there any kind of indication that was even for the Xbox brand? Could it be for Mixer or something like that?
Well, why Mixer?
Well, you get what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
Microsoft is a huge corporation. If they're
Yeah.
trademarking an S, it doesn't necessarily mean. I mean, it's coincidence of timing. I'll give you that, but it doesn't mean that it's for the Scorpio.
Maybe they are doing Scalebound. They just renamed it S.
Oh my god!
No. Scalebound's dead.
Oh man,
Monkey D 2006 made a really good point. Hopefully, Xbox is here to compete, to push PlayStation to do better in return. It pushes Microsoft and Xbox to do better. And that's all a gamer really wants. That's all we really want. Anybody, whether on the Xbox side or the PlayStation side.
Yeah, because when companies compete for our dollar, we benefit from it.
Exactly.
And that's why like Sony dominating you could argue is bad for that, because like Sony can just ignore everything that's happening. I mean, look at you guys know Deformers, a game that came out last month from Ready at Dawn. They announced a new update today. And it's so Steam people can play with Xbox people, but then Steam people can also play with PS4 people. And in reality, it should be everybody should be able to play with everybody. But because Sony feels no threat from Microsoft whatsoever, they're denying crossplay.
I do have a quote. Oh, you can finish what you were saying. There.
Well, they're denying crossplay when in reality is something we should get. I mean, their hashtag is for the players, but in reality, that's just a corporate hashtag made by a bunch of old men sitting in a boardroom to try to get like the fans of PlayStation to use over and over again. Like at the end of the day, these corporations want one thing, and that's money from us. That we're nothing more than a wallet to them. And I wish more people would realize that. And because I was talking to a couple people today about this very fact, about why Sony won't allow it, and they said, well, that's good for Sony. It's like, why is it? I understand it's good for Sony, but why is it good for you or the gamer? Like, I get why they don't want to do anything to do with crossplay, and they're only doing it because they're dominating. If it was closer, they would probably consider it. But I mean, think about, like, we get free games on Xbox because PlayStation gave free games because they needed to compete. There's a lot of different things that we get because of the other platform is doing certain things. So I just want Xbox to be a true competitor in the marketplace. So it forces everybody to kind of compete, and then I get the better and deal from everything, you know?
Exactly.
Gamer Knight says Xbox needs a new face. Do you mean like mascot, like a big first-party Halo game, or do you mean like someone running the company?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Because there's multiple ways I can take that statement.
Well, if he's thinking like Master Chief for Gears, you know, like, because you assume like Halo's the face of Xbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
Master Chief is. Then I mean, yeah, it's been what 2001, so going on 16 years now.
I mean,
being the face. So
that's what makes Sony's. He says, I mean, not like Halo and Gears. Yeah. So it was like that. But that's what makes Sony so good, because besides The Last of Us, if you look at it, it's like they got so many iconic brands that that you could really go to any of them. Up till probably 5 years ago, you'd think God of War would be their mascot. Then it was the Uncharted, The Last of Us. I mean, they got a few of these in their chat. The only game that they, the big ones, I don't consider Knack and all of them. They're good games. I don't never played Knack, but the only game that I could really see that didn't live up to its full potential is the Infamous series.
Miss Boss Lady ES made a good point too. What if Xbox dropped Xbox Live and let us play for free?
I think that's too much money they'd be losing to do that.
No, I think eventually they're going to have to do that or give you some incentives to pay, because
They do.
PC,
Games with gold.
yeah, PC players play for free. So
PC players don't get games with gold.
no, they don't. But that's why I'm saying I don't think the games in gold is a big enough.
Here's a question. Okay, theoretically, let's say they drop the multiplayer and let you play. They drop the multiplayer barrier and let you play multiplayer for free, but parties were still behind the ball. You can only play game chat. Do you think people would subscribe just to be in party chats?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people.
You know what I always thought they should do with Xbox Live, and I thought they should bundle literally everything together, like their music pass, their movie thing, the Xbox Live, and put it all together, and that's all that comes with the service.
I agree.
It costs a little bit more a year, but
I'd pay for it.
It would be one crazy service to have.
I'd pay for it if they bundled all of that together. I'd pay for it. Music, all of that. I'll pay for it. Movie, all of that. I'd pay for it.
So I'm sure they thought about making Xbox Live free or multiplayer free, but they probably think it's not realistic, because where would the revenue come from to supplant that?
Yeah, if you think we don't get AAA new IPs now, wait till they drop that to service. Then we really ain't getting shit.
Because it's like a business isn't. I mean, and I just got done saying, we shouldn't worry about that, and I would love for multiplayer to be free. That'd be fantastic. But I also understand if you're Xbox and you're looking at it, it's like, okay, so people pay $60 a year. You're talking probably a couple $2 billion in revenue for the service. So you cut that out, how many people would then unsubscribe? Let's say half. So you say you're making $3 billion, now you're only making $1.5 billion. Where are you going to make up that other $1.5 billion from?
Yeah, Microsoft's going to expect that money. They ain't dropping shit without getting that back.
The only way it would make is if they use that and then a bunch of people bought the system, and by buying the system they make money on it, and more people buy software, so they would then have to make up the money in other areas. But I don't know if it's feasible to make up a large chunk of that money, which is why I've always thought predictions that Xbox Live would go free are utterly ridiculous, because there's just no way they could supplant that revenue.
I do think there is a world where we can get to that point. The way that Phil describes, he wants, he kind of wants Microsoft to go towards, more service games. If they had like 15 service games that they make and bank off of every month, every year, they would have more of a revenue coming that's not just Xbox Live and, their software sales, that maybe they would think about it. But right now, there's just no way in hell.
Speaking on that, this is something me and Laura Attic spoke about before. What do you guys think about the reason why they're not making the exclusives that we want as consumers, as Xbox supporters? What do you think the real reason behind?
I don't really necessarily think they're not, making them. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I think what happened was, we've had a real dry spell this year, which is the first time really we had this kind of dry spell since the console came out. And that's just because everything that was supposed to come out this year up until holiday got canceled. So it makes it, appear that, they're not really announcing stuff. And Microsoft, for the most part, the past couple years, they've been keeping titles, out of the year after the next. This year they'll talk about titles coming out this year and next year. Next year they'll talk about titles coming out that year and the year after. They don't really go past the year after they're talking at E3.
I kind of I kind of took his question a little bit differently. Like I think that. It, correct me if I'm wrong. In fact, you're asking
Chris Jones.
the style
Yeah,
of games that they have,
yeah, the
right?
style of
Like
games. Yeah,
so.
yeah.
So essentially, back to the conversation that Phil had about the single player titles and everything, and the way that I look at it is Microsoft has always had the aura of being that social platform, and it's a community driven thing versus whenever I look at a lot of the Sony games, they look great, but it's almost like you're gonna go sit in your room by yourself, maybe talk to a friend about the game, kind of thing. They're starting to get out of that, especially picking up something like Destiny, is one of their selling points, ironically, but. Um, I just don't think that it's in the DNA of Microsoft to make those
Yeah,
style of games.
yeah, I get what you're
They
saying.
want they want things that are going to have more retention,
It's
and
an
and that's kind of what Phil
ecosystem.
was saying. Yeah, it's kind of what Phil was saying is like, I mean, you're going to play the game, you're going to beat it, and then what do you do after that? After you beat it, maybe you 100% it. Whereas you get some of these other games that they have a much longer retention, and I think that these games with the longer take because it's harder to please people to want to stay with it.
Yeah, and when you look at it from like a perspective on, I get that I'll always be there that I want Microsoft to have more single or plated games. I want more couture. Would you guys consider co-op single experiences like a true single experience, or are you guys just saying no multiplayer at all?
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it can be a multiplayer. I just think we need a different variety of games. And I'm not the guy that says I'm tired of Gears, I'm tired of Halo, I'm tired of Forza. I'll take those on too. I'll play those, but I just think we need a few more. We need something else too. A new IP that can stand the test of time, like a Halo, like a Gears, like a Forza. We need that IP. We need those because there is whispers that people are tired of Gears, Halo, and Forza. I'm not saying I am per se, but there is a part of the community that is tired of that. A lot of them won't say it out loud, but a lot of people, they're tired of Gears, Halo, and Forza. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, would you say that you know Sony generally sticks to single or plated games? They don't really stick to the multiplayer part aspect of their exclusives, and Microsoft's the exact opposite. I think that would be a fair assumption.
I agree that Sony their stories are they're more of a story driven exclusive company. Yeah, I agree with that. I can go with that.
Do you think it's fair to criticize Sony for not having multiplayer exclusives, like people criticize Xbox for not having single player exclusives, or do you think that's more of like a double standard?
This is me. I can't speak for everybody else, but I can say this. I have both consoles. I like to play games, period. And I'm open to anything. If it's good at the end of the day after I play it, I'll give it a great review. I'll support the game. I'll recommend it to you guys or whatever. I'm not the guy that tries to, oh, well, Sony did this. Microsoft need to do this. Microsoft's doing this.
You're just like,
Sony
I
needs to do
want
it.
experiences. It don't matter what platform.
Exactly. I want a great experience. That's all from both companies.
Well, it seems like you ain't want that Crackdown 3
Oh my
experience.
god! Let's like get back on the Crackdown.
No, no, I had to
I
throw
don't
that in there. I'm sorry.
I'm ignoring. Fuck that Crackdown 3. Fuck that Crackdown 3 experience, man. It left a bad taste in my mouth, dude. Crackdown 2 left a bad taste in my mouth. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I will purchase Crackdown 3, and if it's good,
that's the part
I will come back. I will come back and tell you guys, hey, chat, I was wrong. Crackdown 3 is a solid game. I recommend you guys to pick it up. I'm real like that.
That's the part I thought was funny is when he was like, "We're gonna be playing Crackdown 3. You're gonna be playing Friday." I think to myself, he's probably gonna have Crackdown 3, kid.
Exactly. I'm gonna have it with you. I'm just real, man. I just want to play games. I want the experience, man. I want the experience. That's all I want. I just think.
To be
I'm sorry,
completely.
God, I'm talking too much.
I'm sorry. To be completely honest with you, when it comes to the whole Crackdown thing, I hate to get back into it, but you know, we it's like we say you don't know enough to really hype the to not to we don't know enough to say the game's trash, but that exact argument could be flipped around to benefit gaming effect. We don't know shit about this game to say it's not going to be trash.
Yeah, I just want a good experience, and like Rand said, man, they just need to compete. It gives the consumer, it gives the hardcore gamer and the casual a better experience when you compete. Nobody wants a loser.
I do want to say, do you think that they should aim more towards marketings again, or do you think they should stick to the first party and second party studios and not really mess with marketing deals? Because I think marketing deals is just as important as those other is first and second party studios.
I think marketing deals hurt uh, the gaming experience. I think exclusives hurt the gaming experience in the long run as well.
I'm talking about from a competitive standpoint.
Oh, from a competitive standpoint, um, marketing deals ain't going nowhere no time soon because um, after I look at it this way, after these devs make these games, a lot of times, excuse me, they don't have the money to market, so they look for the console companies to help them market the game, and they just pick who they think is hot right now at the point. And that's so I think at the end of the day, that helps the dev team, the publisher, uh, get their game out to all over the world using those marketing dollars.
I've always thought about this, but do you guys think that one of the reasons development for games costs so much is because they spend so much money on marketing? Not necessarily Microsoft, but every publisher.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I feel like marketing, just like marketing, with nowadays with the days of like social media, marketing should be getting cheaper and cheaper. Like if Twitter could cause a business to lose millions of dollars in one day, and same day
and destroy a game called Mass Effect in one day.
Yeah, and make a game a whole lot of money in one day. So the thing is, marketing deals are overrated, and I feel like marketing deals are really kind of dumb. If you ask me, it's dumb for the hardware publisher, and it's dumb for the consumer. The only person it's not really dumb for is the publisher of the game, because they're getting extra money. How I always looked at marketing deals, especially with third-party games, like a game like Destiny, and a game like The Division and whatnot. They're multi-plat games, right? They're highly anticipated. When you put those games out, they're going to sell regardless who you had a marketing deal with.
Word of mouth's best kind of marketing you can have.
Yeah, but those games are going to sell. Those games are going to sell regardless of who you have a marketing deal with. It doesn't matter if it sell. You at the end of the day, right? You give all right. Sony's going to give me extra money to put my game on to market so they can market my game. Sure, why not? I'm still going to sell 3 million on that platform. I'm still going to sell 1.5 million on the Xbox. That was going to happen regardless. So it's like, I think it's the dumbest transaction ever for anyone to do, and it's going to live because what I find out about like corporations and businesses and stuff like that, they live by old rules, it takes them a while to realize, oh, this model's kind of stupid. You know what I mean? So I feel like the most expensive part about game development is marketing, and it shouldn't be.
Can I just answer? If I said your name wrong, I apologize. Mbandi HD, if I said it wrong, I apologize. The reason I personally think that exclusivity hurts the gaming community is because not everyone gets to experience both consoles. Some people's kids only get to play an Xbox because it's cheaper, or they get to only have the PlayStation 4 or whatever the case may be. So a lot of these kids don't always get to experience all the games a lot of us get to play.
Plus it cuts the sales in half.
And it cuts the sales in half as well. Could you imagine? I'm not saying this but could you imagine if Naughty Dog wasn't exclusive to the PlayStation 4? Could you imagine that? How awesome that would be?
Or if Halo
For-
and Gears was on PlayStation.
exactly how if Halo and Gears with no restrictions was on a PlayStation 4. Tell me that wouldn't be awesome. Tell me you never thought about that. Think about that.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't like exclusives. Like, I don't have a problem with exclusives. I have a problem with like everyone getting games and then content being hidden behind for other platforms behind marketing deals and stuff like that, or stuff like that. That's what kind of irks me. Like the stuff like that Destiny, the situation with the Destiny, like how Xbox still ain't got content for Destiny that, and Destiny 2 is about to come out. So that's the only thing that really irks me. I don't mind games, a Pacific game, being exclusive to a console. You know, only time I find it become troublesome is when it's a game like, let's say, a game like Tomb Raider being exclusive to like Xbox, when it's generally a multiplayer game, or a game like Nier, you know, generally a multiplayer game, and it's like, oh no, well, we're only gonna go on this console. Those are the ones that kind of get like really irritating. But first party games exclusive should remain that.
Everybody's entitled. I mean, that's the way the business model is set up nowadays. So, you know, if but I'm just saying, if all platforms was open, I think the gaming experiences would be that much better. Like I said, could you imagine Days Gone or or Spider-Man, a game I'm looking forward to for PlayStation 4. Could you imagine if Spider-Man was on the Xbox, or God of War was on the Xbox as well? That would be crazy. That would be crazy, man. It would be crazy.
Maybe it depends. I mean, hey, like it really all depends. Like I can't imagine playing those games on the Xbox. Would I? Of course I would, but I couldn't imagine it. But I really want to get us to close out. We just passed, I think, 2 hours. Rand, you back?
Yeah, I am here.
Okay. I didn't want to. Do you have anything to say? Anything you want to say? You want to link your channel, or where they can follow you at? I know you just bought a PlayStation.
Yeah. Well, if you want to see more of my content, I did post a video during the podcast. So some sabotage there, but it's about the Xbox backwards compatibility, and even though nobody uses it, it's still a great thing that Microsoft supports it. And I detail the reasons why in the video. And if you want to see more of that stuff, it's youtube.com/randothor19. Or I also host a TXR podcast Monday nights. So
Is Xbox 2's Wednesday or Thursdays?
that is Wednesdays. That'll be tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
Before
Okay.
Jez
Yeah,
goes to E3. So yeah.
I usually watch it on my way home from work. I catch it because I get out of work at like 6, and it's usually on while I'm driving back. So that's how I catch him. So cool. Look, subscribe to Rando Arthur if you haven't. I'm pretty sure you guys are. And I thank you, Rand, for joining me. I was glad to have you on.
Glad to be here.
Can't have a Planet Xbox and not have a Randall Thor there, so that was pretty grateful that you came. Also, OG, let them know where they can find you. Your channel's been growing at a fast pace as well.
You can catch me at just type in The Gaming Effect on YouTube. I play a plethora of different games. I'm locked into one type of game. You can catch me on Twitter at Gaming Effect LLC. I'm always talking about games, and I'm always available to give my opinion. And you can catch me on the Facebook as well. The Gaming Effect is the Facebook. But come check out the YouTube. I'm pretty sure I got something over there for any type of gamer. And I want to thank you guys for coming through, showing your support as always. You're not always going to agree with me, but I'm always keep it honest. Sometimes brutally honest to a fault. But again, I appreciate you guys some support because you could be doing something else.
And Dizzy, you here with us still?
Yeah, I'm here.
That's awesome. The internet's working.
Yeah. For the time being, yeah. You can follow me at Twitter at idizzy81. Same as the Xbox, idizzy81. If you wanted to follow me on there, and I think I'm gonna make it my goal. I'm gonna have say 300 or 400 gamer score by the next episode.
I might have 60.
Wow.
Maybe I can aim for higher than that. I still have was it Life is Strange to complete the whole series. So.
Hey, kid only has like 500 right now. You hit those Life is Strange, and Life is Strange has some pretty easy achievements, and you hit those Telltale games and that game Rand was talking about. Oh, you'll be right up there with Kid. If you beat Kid this month, I want you to talk so much shit at the end of
Smooth's
the
a
month.
loser. Smooth is such a loser right now, man.
Here's the thing. I'm not at 500. I'm at like 12 something, and I'll be thanks to Rand telling me about that game. I should be at like 2,000 by the end of the night. So I think I will not. I probably will not be top 5 this month.
You're not gonna beat me because I have games lined up before E3 that we're gonna go to when I see you at E3, I'm gonna have a higher gear score than you. And Rand just put us on a new game, so
we'll see. I like, you know what I mean. Like I usually do all my damage. It's bad that I'm as high as I am in the early part of the month. I usually do my damage the last week of the month. That's when I usually do my damage to catch up.
Yeah, I usually do my damage early part of the month.
But Lord Addict, tell them where they can find you, man.
You can find me on Twitter, Lord Addict IOP. You can find my YouTube channel, Gaming Addict. Probably the next week, I'm gonna be doing E3 content. I'm probably gonna talk more shit about Nintendo. I don't know yet. Gotten a lot of bad feedback from my shit talking Nintendo this morning over their nonsense with the Pokemon. You can, I do frequent shows on games and stuff that's happening in the gaming industry. You can catch me on, I co-host another podcast. It's got Iron Lords Podcast. Catch me on that. It's YouTube Iron Lords Podcast. Definitely go over there. It's every Sunday at 1 p.m. And be sure to like the podcast. I'm done.
Nope. You done? All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to episode 2 of Planet Xbox. Like I said, we'll be around next week with a lot of E3 related content in regards to Xbox and whatnot. But we'll be back with traditional podcasts the week after. And I don't know what date that falls on. I think like somewhere in like the 20s or something like that. But thank you guys for tuning in once again. Making this another successful episode. Thank you to all I think we almost had 100 people in here today. That was great. But as I always say, Xbox is the best box, and I am the best bot. Good night or good morning if you're on the other side of the globe. We are out of here.